Okay, guys, it is about 6 o'clock. We are just about ready to jump into day number 3. And I should have Dr. Cindy Hess joining us here really quickly. I hope, if we did it right. Maybe not. Where are you? Cindy? There you are. Okay, Cindy, I sent you an invite, so hopefully we've got you jumping on here in just a second. I hope, anyway. My phone is balancing on top of my laptop. This ought to be interesting. Okay, why is it not letting me? Okay. So, Cindy, it says I invited you. Oh, hey, Julie. And I'm totally cheating. This is so trippy because I'm live here and I can see me on my laptop too, which has a little bit of a lag, which is really trippy. But I want to be able to see the news feed so I can feed questions to Dr. Hess as we are getting this up and running. So Cindy, are you having a problem getting hooked up here, honey? Why are you not seeing it? I don't know why. I sent you the invite. So Cindy, why don't you just ask to be added? Because it says I sent you the invite, but it's not, I don't know why it's not showing up for you. This is why we jumped on 5 minutes early. Approve. Add. I think we're going to pull this thing off. I'm so excited. It's taking its sweet time, but at least it says it's adding you, so that's good. And my dear Stacy Livel is on. This is awesome. Now if we can just get Cindy to pop up, we'll be good to go. Okay, Cindy, it said it was adding you and now you've vanished. Oh my gosh. Come on, Facebook. We got this to work last time. Holy cow, I hate love technology. And then it says that you're not on. Cindy, I don't know why this isn't working because it worked last time. Okay, Cindy, now it's not even showing that you're, like, I can't even invite you to join. Let's try this. I still show my invite. You'll have to ask to be added again because it's not cooperating. Guys, I'm so sorry. Thanks for being patient with our technology. So third time's a charm. Okay, guys, third time's a charm. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Okay.
Yes! We did it!
Yay! Wow.
I'm telling you, this technology, people.
Yeah, sometimes. Starting this?
I am so excited. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And it's only 6:03. So, as promised, everybody, oh my gosh, today's the day. The first of more than one, actually. So I'm super excited about that. This is the one, the only, the fabulous Dr. Cindy Hess. I'm so excited that she is here with us today. I met Cindy. When did Sandy Jones connected us?
Yeah, probably a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago.
About 3 months ago, and just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, just so you kind of know, I was just like not functioning as a human. So I'll be 51 in a couple weeks, and I didn't know if it was menopause or adrenal fatigue, or I didn't know what it was. I was losing my marbles, whatever, and I just was this crazy hot mess, and I wasn't functioning. And having coffee with my girlfriend Sandy, who said, "Get your phone right now, and you're calling Dr. Hess," and the rest is history. I am literally coming back to life, and it's in huge part to some of the self-care ideas that many of them I already knew about, kind of, sort of. I'd implemented them, but I wasn't doing them to the extreme that Dr. Hess had me do them. And I love that she is, it isn't even necessarily that she is super out of the box. She's not really throwing a lot of super out of the box things our way, but she's just a really down to earth, common sense kind of a gal. And so I invited Cindy on tonight to just kind of, for us to kind of have a little bit of a conversation and talk a little bit about self-care. So Cindy, answer me this, because you've got so many different patients that, you know, from all walks of life, many of them women who are just, self-care's on the back burner, right?
Yes. And that's the typical woman that walks in my door is average age, late 30s to 50s on up. And so much of what's wrong with them is just that they are lacking self-care. They're not taking care of their parasympathetic nervous system. They're giving away everything, and they've lost not only their health, but their physical identity. And a lot of times they don't even know what's wrong with them. They just come in and, "I just don't feel good. I don't have the drive." And I wish all of them were like Krista and would just take the bull by the horns and go, "Yeah, I'm doing this," and be devoted and take responsibility.
Well, I was so excited when I first had this idea for when I first had the idea to put this group together, I mean, kind of the core of what I wanted to do is, yes, it's important for us to be able to get our schedules lined out and have the best summer possible, but the best summer possible has to start with us taking care of ourselves. So I wanted to have Cindy on today to for two reasons. One, I wanted to I asked her if she would share just some insights and some advice on ways that we can implement self-care every single day, because I think a lot of us, especially those of us in this group, we're really that go big or go home mentality of, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do this. And for some of us, that's the best option. Cindy put me on a routine that I initially thought was ridiculous, but when I realized I wasn't functioning, I was willing to do anything, and it's totally worked. Seriously, if you saw me a few months ago, you don't even want to know. And but even just, she's always encouraged me that even just the little things really do matter. And so that's the first thing I wanted her to come on and do that. But also, she's just awesome at answering questions. And so this is so trippy for me. So if I look like I'm kind of like half there sometimes, I am talking to Cindy live, and I've got it also on my laptop. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and post your questions, and I'll go ahead and ask them to Cindy as we go through. So Cindy, take it away. Just take it away, my dear.
That would be great if you would just interrupt with questions, because right now I can't see them. All I can see is us. So, as I said, the typical woman that comes in my door, and men that come into my office, they are stressed, fatigued. They're living on a life of caffeine and adrenaline, and they're not living, yeah, look at you. They're not really feeling that health of true energy. It's a fake energy. And sometimes that adrenaline, when we're pumping and running and constantly living on the adrenaline, we are not sleeping very many hours, and it's like, well, but I feel better when I only sleep 4 to 5 or 6 hours or whatever. But that's because your body is producing the cortisol. And so the cortisol, you should have the most energy in the morning when you wake up. But when you don't, when you're still tired after you feel like you've got a good night's sleep, that means your cortisol levels are low in the morning, and they're not working well when you're sleeping, because when you're sleeping at night, the cortisol should be down and building and restoring the body. And that is the only time our growth hormones, so anti-aging, losing weight, recovering from sickness, that's the only time that those are released, is when we are sleeping. So rest is very important, and restoration. A lot of people that I see, we live in such a world, and you call someone up and you say, hey, what are you doing? And they say nothing, and you say, well, what's wrong? What's going on? Why aren't you doing anything? Because we live in such a society where, taking a break or taking 5 minutes to ourselves is foreign. And sometimes even our bodies have a hard time relaxing. It doesn't feel natural because they're in such a wound up state. The problem is, what we are doing is we are burning out our parasympathetic nervous system. We're burning out our adrenals, which is all connected to the thyroid, which is a lot of the reason a lot of people have such thyroid issues. Yeah. And when we rest, we can come back into a peak performance. But when we don't rest, we think that we're at a peak performance, but we're really not. So it's like in college, you learn that cramming is not the best way to study. It's a slow, steady space. Well, when we live our life without taking care of ourselves, it's like cramming constantly 24/7. We're constantly bombarded by stimulation from screens, Facebook, comparing ourselves. So it's really rough. And as I consulted Krista, just taking even 30 minutes out of your schedule a day, scheduling time in for yourself, just to step aside and do something that is strictly for you. And that makes you better for everybody else around you, believe it or not. So 30 minutes to take a bath. Is there someone on there?
Well, we've got 3 people watching.
Oh, I apologize. I thought I heard someone talking. So taking a short nap, going for a walk, grounding. And if you don't know what grounding is going out into your grass or into moist dirt or sand. At the beach especially is really nice, and just releasing that static electricity. It repolarizes our body because we live in such an electronic world that the static builds up in our system and makes us feel hyped up and jittery. And so when we release that, and the polarity of the energy that runs through the electricity that runs through our body is able to reestablish that system, it makes us feel a lot better when we don't even realize it. So there are many things that you can do for self-care. I like to take people to have them kind of go back and say, well, what's your hobby? What is your hobby? And I'd say 9.99% of the time, most women do not have a hobby. They'll say, well, it's my family, or it's this, or it's that. Well, it's not them. That's not their hobby. I even have a 72-year-old patient, and I said, well, what's your hobby? What do you like to do? And she says her family's her hobby. Well, our family can't be our hobby. Yes, we need to spend all the time and love our family, but we need time for ourselves. And so whatever that looks like for you, that might be a sport, maybe even kickboxing, and releasing all of that frustration and adrenaline, or like I said, a nap, laying down, prayer, meditation, taking a long hot bath, shutting the door, putting on candles, reading a book. Any of those things that are self-care to you, that check you out for just a little bit and check you into yourself. That's even better yet. If you can actually be aware of the changes that your self-care makes in your body, then you realize the difference in your performance. Sometimes I ask people, when you come back after lunch, do you feel tired? It could be something you ate, and it could just be that you're just running out of steam, because our food is fuel. And sometimes we eat on the run. It's how you eat your lunch as much as what you eat for lunch. Are you standing up? Are you sitting at your desk? You know, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to sit down, put your phone away, and take that few minutes and consciously just eat your food, chew your food, and take your time. That's actually a form of self-care. Sometimes exercise is self-care, but we can take that to an extreme as well. Sometimes it's almost an abuse, and over-exercise can take its toll on our parasympathetic nervous system as well as the adrenals. Krista, can you tell us how you felt after your first 2 to 3 days of your schedule?
Oh my gosh. And here's the thing, that what we want to focus on today is finding even just little pockets of time, kind of like what I talked about yesterday, little pockets of time. But I was kind of I was an extreme case. I was only really truly functioning for about an hour a day when I went to Dr. Hess. And so she put me on a pretty tight regimen of 3 hours of self-care a day. I had 2 of those were designated very specific things that I needed to do, and then one of them was kind of whatever I wanted to do. And I rediscovered my love for reading, which I do almost every night before I go to bed. And not business development. Those of you that know me are going, oh sure, yeah, whatever. No, really, honestly, we're talking Richard Castle. Reading my Castle books. No. But it was really strange because I really thought it would take 2, 3, 4 weeks before I would notice a difference. And it was, Cindy, it couldn't have been 2, 3, 4 days. And I texted her, I'm like, I actually slept all night, like got really good sleep. I was functioning really, quality functioning already 3 to 4 hours a day, just by getting good sleep, getting some of those routines in place, taking care of myself again. And I mean, it's changed drastically since then, but yeah, it made all the difference in the world.
It does. And routine sometimes isn't for everybody, or somebody thinks I can't have a routine. And especially since this program is about summer and we don't have any kind of routine in the summer. It can be hairy, scary. We're all over the place, and we got kids running here and doing this and doing that, and the schedule's all messed up. The traffic's even different. That's a time when we really do need to focus on a routine. And I know that doesn't sound fun or glamorous or anything else, but scheduling appointments with yourself for self-care throughout the day is very important. Maybe for you, it's maybe going window shopping or whatever that is. So if you go, you take your lunch and you go window shopping. But even if you're just, not just, excuse me, pardon me, even if you're a stay-at-home mom or you don't work and you work inside the home, schedule your time just like you would if you did have a job. If you think about children, they do better when they have boundaries and set parameters and they know where those boundaries are. That's the way we are. Or if you think about pets, they do better when they know their boundaries, or even sometimes if they're in a kennel where they're not just, it's, we live in such a stimulating world that when we don't take that time to check out, our stimulation is so overwhelmed. The blue light from the screens, blue light is so stimulating to our minds and our nervous system that it never has a chance to shut down and go, ah. And so we're always on hyper alert. And that adrenaline, if you watch a movie that is scary or full of action, your body and your nervous system doesn't necessarily know the difference between whether that's really happening because you're experiencing some of those same emotions. And so when we're on high alert all the time, it fries those adrenals and makes them very weak. And as women, as we age, and as we hit late 30s, early 40s, especially now in a world where we're estrogen dominant from the plastics and things, what happens is when menopause is not a disease. Menopause is a natural transition in life. But what happens when the adrenals are so tired and so dysfunctional, they aren't able, when we reach menopause and the hormones start to fluctuate, that they can't take over that production. And so that's when we come into low energy, dragging, mood swings, all of those things that people that come into my office are feeling. They feel like they can't function. They just don't feel good and they really don't know why. And so would you tell, and it starts when we're young children these days.
Yeah, it really does.
School, they have activities, they have sports, and these children aren't learning self-care. And so as women, I even have women tell me, well, I got cancer and I can't say that it was bad because they were almost thankful that they had to step out of their busy schedule and rest.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, and really quickly, let me interrupt really fast. We've got several people that have just tuned in. As you guys have questions, and here's the thing, the rules in this group is no questions off limits. Trust me, you would not believe some of the questions I've asked Cindy. And she's answered them with a smile on her face. So if you have any questions, you've got Dr. Hess right here. So for about the next 5 to 10 minutes. So don't hesitate. Any questions you want to ask her about self-care, go right on ahead. One of the things that I really appreciated about Dr. Hess is the fact that she, you get really creative with your self-care. I mean, and that's one of the things that I really appreciated was looking at, because we're so busy and we're so overwhelmed and we have so many things going on, it's so easy to walk into a Western medicine focused doctor's office, and I'm a big fan of doctors. I don't, it doesn't matter to me, but to be able to walk in and have them, to be able to say, oh, these are your symptoms, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
But just like in my example alone, I mean, it was, oh, this is what's wrong with you, let's give you medication. But I sit in front of Cindy, she's like, yeah, but if we take care of this, I'm dealing with some hypothyroidism, but it's being triggered by adrenal fatigue. So here's a thought, let's take care of the adrenal fatigue. And there are several other things that are going on. And all of us as women go through this junk that if we take care of what's actually going on, which is the lack of self-care, which can lead to, between tech and overstimulation and not taking care of ourselves and not sleeping enough, etc., that's what brings on all of these things. So the adrenal fatigue and it's debilitating. It can really be debilitating for us.
It can be beyond debilitating. I've seen people have absolute crash and where they absolutely cannot function, and it can take them years and years to come back if they ever really do. And so, and then like I said, it is connected with the thyroid. So now that we've had all of the all the nasty stuff about all the stuff that can happen and the not so fun stuff, let's talk about some fun ways that people can nourish themselves. Now, there are some people who are adrenaline junkies and they want to go out and they want to go ziplining, or they want to go whatever that might be, whatever that might look like for you, riding a dirt bike. A lot of times women can become passive aggressive when they're not stating what their needs are. And the old saying of when mom gets sick, nothing gets done. And it's the truth. I knew of a lady who her whole life, her family, she was very OCD about her house. Everything was perfect, but she never felt good. So she never felt like having fun. She never smiled. Well, come to find out that she had had a long-term sickness and passed away. It's that old saying of wear the dress, wear the shoes, use the good china, because you just never know. And sometimes it just feels really good. Sometimes for some people, for self-care is to go all day on a Sunday without getting dressed or putting on makeup. And to some people that mortifies them. The thought of that mortifies. Well, if it mortifies you, then maybe that's what you need to do for your self-care. Basically, you just don't do anything that day.
Do something totally out of the ordinary.
Yeah, yes. And go back to when you were a child. So find your hobby, something that was a hobby, and go back to when you were a child, things that you like to do. If it's color or, what was the first thing you wanted to do when you grew up? Was it be a princess? Maybe a self-care might be a day to the mall, just not to spend money, but just to go try on clothes and make yourself feel good. So get dolled up. So there's massages, facials, and those things. But at the same time, I don't always look at those as a true self-care. Yes, they're checking out and they're very good for you and very, very beneficial. But for self-care, I like to call it self-soothing. So something for you that takes you, that is a reward to you, whether it could be a Epsom salts bath with candles, maybe even putting in some rose petals in the bath and letting your family know that you're checking out for an hour and please don't knock on the door. But self-care can also involve exercising, eating a healthy lunch, and not gorging yourself and eating comfort food. Because a lot of times then after we've done that, the guilt that's associated with it, the way your stomach feels that's associated with it, it really wasn't self-care after all. And also stimulants and alcohol, sometimes they're a nice indulgence and they're wonderful and they definitely have their purpose. But after a long day, to decompress the muscles and decompress the body, a hot bath or even a hot foot soak or a foot rub can go a lot further than a glass of wine. But if you add the wine and the foot rub in the bath, that's great.
There you go. There you go. So thanks so much for jumping on here with us. You guys, really, I cannot preach how important self-care is. And Cindy, thank you for sharing some incredibly just short, simple ideas. Again, all of us that are a part of this group are wired to be that go big or go home mentality. And that is just that in 90% of your life, that's awesome. Right now, not so much. Okay, I want everybody in this group to just park your go big or go home. Because you are going to have the best summer ever, and it's going to be fantastic because you're making sure that you're a priority. And I actually had a chance when I visited with Cindy earlier today. She's willing to come on another time or two. So I think we're going to kick around some topics. So if you guys know of a topic, if there's something that you feel would bring a lot of value to this group, that's something that Dr. Hess could touch on or address, please post it below. You know, ask questions. If you're watching this on a replay, go ahead and make sure, let us know that you're watching this on a replay. And we're definitely going to get her, what is today, Thursday? I think we're going to push our Q&A maybe to Saturday. I haven't decided yet, but as far as me being on and doing a Q&A, but maybe Sunday or Monday. Do you want to jump on again with us again, Cindy? Sunday or Monday? Okay, awesome. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, thank you, you guys. Oh my gosh, she's just fabulous. I'm so excited that she's, you know, excited about being a part of the group and participating and helping and being here for us. So, so you guys go have a wonderful rest of your night. If you think about, Stacy says, can you talk more about thyroid and self-care? Ooh, thyroid. I have hypothyroidism. So if anybody else would like us to have Dr. Hess talk a little bit more about thyroid, just go ahead and go in and love Stacy Lyle's comment down here in the post, and that we can definitely make that, because here's the thing, for some of us it's a hereditary thing, but and Cindy and I were talking about this the other day, the lives that we lead, whether we like it or not, most women at some point deal with some kind of thyroid issue. Isn't that true?
Yes. It's the things that we're subjected to in our environment. It does have to do with the adrenals and the parasympathetic nervous system. So they're heavily connected, and so there are ways around that.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Kim wants us to also talk about it. Julie Babcock Hyde wants us to talk about. Okay, guys, so let's see here. Oh, you know what? Sunday is Father's Day. So Monday, Cindy and I will pick a time. And does evening work for you, Cindy?
Yes. I'll make it work.
Okay, because we want more people to be on, because a good chunk of you are 9-to-5ers, and we totally get that. I mean, we're 9-to-5ers too. Even though we own our own businesses, we still, you know, have clients and stuff. Let's plan on Monday night, and we'll jump on here again now that we know what we're doing, and we'll go ahead. We'll talk more about the thyroid. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Okay, you guys go have a wonderful night. Again, Cindy, thank you. I love you to the moon and back, my friend.
Thanks. Love you. You guys have a great night.
Okay, guys, we'll be talking to you again soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.